Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of Roundabout Sports presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media, where our passion is our profession. Also presented by Filthy Games Room in St. Charles, Missouri for all your buying, selling, and trading video game needs. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a soon-to-be stormy July 3rd, 2024. I'm the Maestro, Jeremy Carp. Happy early 4th of July, everybody. And thank you for everybody who is tuning in, whether it be on our Facebook pages, on our official YouTube channel. It is always a pleasure. And Nick Hesley, everybody. I want to give a shout out to Nick because Nick is a loyal listener. He's been on the show before. He's a loyal follower of Interstate 70 Sports Media. And thank you so much for the holiday wishes. Happy holidays to you as well, buddy. We got a really good show in store tonight. Later on in the show, Tyler Cooley, who wasn't able to make it on a couple weeks ago, will be joining me, co-hosting alongside me. But until then, there's a few things I kind of want to take care of. The first thing I want to take care of is the fact that you can find Roundabout Sports on our official I-70 Sports Media YouTube channel. And you can also catch this guy on our official YouTube channel. You can catch him wherever there's pro wrestling involved. So I want to bring on my friend. He and I have known each other for a couple years now. He's somebody I've seen a lot of growth in, who's poured his heart and soul into righting a lot of wrongs in his life and with a lot of people. And it's a dear pleasure to have him on. It's a dear pleasure to call him a friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roundabout Sports, our co-host for the evening, the one and only Tyler Cooley.
Jeremy,
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you so much.
That's my pleasure, man. How have you been?
Staying busy and loving life, just living the dream, you know? I always tell people, too blessed to be stressed.
Exactly. And I know later on we're going to hit some of the professional wrestling events that you are associated with, that you're going to be involved in. But the first thing we have to get out of the way is some business that, and also first off, happy 4th to my dad and my parents as well. There's some business to take care of. So for the Wrestle Talk podcast last night, for those that didn't tune in, it was me, every other host that's on a part of that show, and Big Jimmy Harris from the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, somebody you know pretty well. You actually getting to be the master of ceremonies at this year's Hall of Fame ceremony. So before we talk about that, there's somebody I have to talk about. And it was a surprise to many people, but it was well overdue. So my mentor and dear friend Luke Roberts, who has been in this business for 36 years, believe it or not. He's been a wrestler, a referee, a ring announcer, a commentator. He's pretty much done it all. And yes, even Nick knows St. Louis Hall of Famer Big Jimmy Harris. I've actively lobbied to get Luke inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Night Owl Renee has done a lot to get him inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so for this moment to be announced on the Wrestle Talk podcast last night was a huge honor for me. And to finally see it that Luke Roberts will be inducted into the St. Louis Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. I am so excited for him. And he joins Don Huber, Jeremy Lightfoot, so many other, or Spike Huber and Jeremy Lightfoot, and so many other great wrestlers. Harley Race is another one of the great wrestlers and personalities being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. But definitely be sure to check out, and Justin Savage tuning in. Thank you so much, Savage, for tuning in, saying very well deserved. It really is.
Absolutely.
And Luke Roberts is a genius. It says he was a booker for Dynamo. That's absolutely true. I got my start in Dynamo Pro working with Luke. He was my side by side guy, and he's my brother for life. Like I said, I've known him for over a decade. I wouldn't be where I'm at in journalism without him. I wouldn't be where I'm at in life without him. So I owe him so much. I believe the date, if I remember correctly, it will be June 22nd, 2025 for the 2025 class for the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Tyler, your thoughts?
You know, whenever I heard the news that Luke Roberts was going to get inducted, and I saw, I was shocked, but I was shocked in a good way, because this is so well deserved. Whenever you look at the history behind this Hall of Fame and the history behind Luke Roberts himself and what he's done for independent St. Louis wrestling, it's honestly, it's monumental. It's monumental.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
I'm excited for Luke. This is just this is incredible. I mean, this is going to be huge. And like you said, they released the entire list of inductees, and it is huge. Huge.
Yes, I know Pete Madden is also one. So go back to the Wrestle Talk podcast, folks. Be sure to tune in for Jimmy Harris, who put on revealed the full list. I will say, Tyler, what do you think about this picture of you and Luke from the recent Hall of Fame ceremony?
So Luke, you know, he had a busy day that day. He had some arrangements before the Hall of Fame, so he was just a tad bit late, which is okay. Things happen. But the fact that this picture right here was captured, I mean, the fact that I even got to introduce him, I think he inducted Spike Huber.
Yep.
So I believe
I
this.
forgot Spike already went in. I forgot.
I think this might have been taken by the Extreme Kim Chi, or maybe Tara the Irish Terror. I can't remember, but I think there's also a picture floating around somewhere. I might be able to send it to you, that him and I got. But that picture.
No,
when are you ever going to see Luke and I dressed so nice?
I was gonna say that is a great picture. Give me 1 second while your screen is actually cut out. No, you're good. Okay, just making sure. No, it's totally fine. I know. Okay, here we go. I got the picture for you. So for those tuning into the audio visual version of our show this evening, here is a much better picture of Tyler Cooley alongside our dear friend Luke Roberts. That looks more like it. That looks more presentable. And this is the thing. There's something bigger than the fact that Luke is in the Hall of Fame, which is crazy. You may not think that there's something bigger. But for Luke, he was also named a member of the board of directors. Mm-hmm. So now Luke will forever take part in the Hall of Fame processes, the committee votes, anything involving the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's no longer just an inductee. He's an inductee and he's an actual member of the board. And I am absolutely excited for him. It means so much to me. You know, he and I have known each other, like I said, since 2014. And oh God, the first interview I did with him was probably, I think we were in a post office in Lake St. Louis, actually. Because I used to do one of my old shows out in the back of behind a post office. And then this was the most recent picture of him and I, just a
Oh, look at
just a few weeks ago, actually, at Dynamo's. I get technically a CHWA show, but out in Edwardsville, and that was such a great time. So it's always good seeing Luke, but you know, it was great. I want to give a shout out to the Night Owl because he made it such a surprise, which is what made it all the more fun. He just said, "Hey, I need all of you guys to tune in at the halfway point through the show, and we will tell you why." And this is why. So, yes, Luke, congratulations on being inducted into the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I think there's only one thing, if I can find it, just to make sure. Give me 1 second. Yeah, here we go. We got to give you that epic win sound effect. We are so proud of you, Luke. So congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. So that's our top story for or I guess I should say that's the story at the top of the hour. So Tyler, I got to ask you this. You know, I don't like dirt sheets. Okay. I don't know if you do. I don't. I can't stand them. I think they ruin journalism. I think they're an absolute joke. That said, a lot of these dirt sheets have been reporting that a lot of backstage officials in WWE are concerned about Jade Cargill and her wrestling abilities as of late. What are your thoughts on how she's doing?
really? Wow. I think she's tough. She's strong. And she's definitely someone I consider a powerhouse. I mean, she eliminated Nia Jax from the Royal Rumble with one hand. So
That's what I'm saying.
the fact
Like,
that they're questioning her ability is kind of crazy to me because she's got it. She's got it.
I think so too. I mean, I feel like if she didn't have it, then quite frankly, they wouldn't have had her on like in the company or anything in the first place. So the fact that she's there, you know, speaks volumes. And
Absolutely.
already had a title reign, like you said. Like, you know, she's already a champion, which is crazy to think about for a rookie. But it's true. So that, like I said, that's why I don't exactly follow dig deep. So yeah, that's just where I stand on the whole thing, and I just thought it was interesting that it was even brought up to begin with. But I definitely wanted your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. That's crazy.
So I wanted to also bring up to you. So you've told me there's multiple. Ooh, here we go. So
Oh, so that's actually
okay, so Nick asks us if Mischief will ever go in the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Tyler, I'm gonna let you tell him.
So Nick, I actually got some really exciting news for you. Um as of I guess technically yesterday, today, it was announced, the entire class, of course, but it was actually announced that Mischief will actually be going into the class of 2025. So there you go.
The question has been answered. Yes, Mischief will be a member of the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to try to pull up the list. Like I said, it was said on the Wrestle Talk podcast last night. And The only reason it wasn't revealed right away was because they wanted to keep it surprise for the sake of Luke Roberts. Okay,
Absolutely.
so let me.
I hopped in there. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a full house. I love it.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Um,
Where will this take place? So it's going to be, like the Maestro said, on June 22nd of 2025, and it's going to be at Andre's Banquet Hall in South County.
yes, absolutely. Okay, here we go. Now I got the list. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. So, Ed Smith, Harley Race, Douglas O'Shea, our very own Luke Roberts, Frank Root, Jeremy Lightfoot, Doc Lombardi, Peggy Minder. Big congratulations to Peggy. Pete Madden, Mark Bland, dear friend, great personality. Steve Sharp, Chris Knight, Mischief, and Ace Strange are the newest inductees into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Wow. A lot of great names, a lot of fantastic names. My only thing is, okay, we talk about Luke Roberts being overdue. How is Harley Race just now getting inducted on this? I feel like any Hall of Fame that involves wrestling, like Harley Race needs to be like the first or second class, you know?
You
So,
absolutely. I was talking to somebody earlier, and that's exactly what I said. I said if it were up to me, Harley Race would have already been in there, but it's okay.
exactly. Okay, so moving on now from the world of professional wrestling. A lot has been going on in first we're going to do in the city of St. Louis, and that's where it's well, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. St. Louis City SC. The team had a great, phenomenal rookie campaign, inaugural season, and unfortunately, they haven't really met expectations since. They ranked 12th in the conference, ahead of only Sporting KC and San Jose. And recently, they actually fired Coach Bradley Carnell. Right now, the technical director, John Hackworth, is taking over as interim coach, and the club is beginning the search for a permanent head coach. So I wanted to ask you, Tyler, how does it feel, knowing they're replacing a coach just halfway through the second season in existence?
You know, I mean, I feel like every team, of course, has their reasoning, but halfway through the second season, at that point, it almost feels like you're not even really giving the coach a chance. I mean, it's a little crazy. It's a little soon, in my opinion.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. I mean, I understand they haven't met the expectations. Right now, City SC is, like I said, they're 12th in the conference. They have 3 wins, 10 draws, and 7 losses. Okay, it's tied for the fewest wins in the conference. But also, what I want to take a look. They got 10 full-time draws, 19 points. They're just 1 point out of, I guess, 11th. I hate to say it. I know it's not pretty, but look, San Jose's 3-2-15. They've lost 15 matches. So I mean, taking a look at how things are going, yeah, it's just a little crazy. And I know Tyler has some things he's taking care of, but looking at how City SC is, I expect a full bounce back at least next season if they don't make any type of progress on this season. I know, ironically enough, They play San Jose starting soon. Also, in a current mid-show game update, I will say that the St. Louis Cardinals are trailing the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-1 in the bottom of the seventh. And speaking of St. Louis Cardinals, this is the fun part. I've said it on the show many times. Ryan K. Bowman has said this on the show many times about how great Ryan Helsley is, the closer for the Cardinals. And it's finally paid off. First, and as soon as I get through explaining the Ryan Helsley, I'll include the news that Nick's just brought to my attention. But yes, Ryan Helsley has been named for the second time this season the National League Reliever of the Month. He's collected 12 saves and struck out 21 batters in the month of June. And he only had a 1.86 ERA, which absolutely phenomenal by Helsley. I've said it before, Tyler, that he is the best closer we've had since Trevor Rosenthal. But honestly, at this point, I almost want to say Ryan Helsley is the best closer we've had since Jason Isringhausen.
I don't really follow sports too much anymore like I used to, so this is where you're probably going to lose me because I don't really.
No, you are good. So this is where, when I have something, I'll make sure to pop you in on this because there's some interesting topics. First, actually, I have something here I've been meaning to plug, and it's by a dear friend of yours
Ooh.
and mine. It is by our dear friend Ed Wheatley.
Ooh.
Okay, so his book, I've plugged it many times, but St. Louis Sports Memories, Forgotten Teams and Moments from America's Best Sports Town. We all know about the Cardinals, back when the Rams were in St. Louis, and the Blues. But this talks about when the Hawks were here in St. Louis, the football Cardinals, the St. Louis Spirits, the original St. Louis Steamers, so many more teams. I mean, even goes into the delve of the ABA, Wash U's basketball dynasty. Folks, it's all over in this book. Get it on shelves at any retail store where you can get your hands on it. It is a fantastic read. So Nick is commenting on this one, and folks, be sure to tune in, wherever you can find us. We're on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, and more. But Nick said Izzy never had a stretch like this. He went 12 for 14 in 05, but that was his best. He won a ring in 2006 and the most saves in Cardinals history. So this is the interesting thing about all of that. He actually did not win a World Series. Okay, he did and he didn't. So, they considered, because Isringhausen missed the entire 2006 season, this is where things get kind of complicated in sports. Because technically, they don't have it listed as Adam Wainwright having a ring in 2011, even though he was on the roster. Because Wainwright missed the whole season with Tommy John surgery. Much like Isringhausen missed the whole 2006 season due to his hip surgery. Like I said, I digress. Really, confusing things here and there. But, Izzy, one of the best, if not the best closer in Cardinals history, alongside Bruce Sutter. Izzy was the closer I grew up really watching. And then Wainwright, and then Mitchell Boggs, Ryan Franklin. I mean, God, the list goes on and on. Trevor Rosenthal, Seung-Wan Oh. Now we have Ryan Helsley, who has really come into his own, and it's so great to see. And I would be hard pressed to see him if he doesn't make the All-Star game. So that's what we're hoping for. Ooh, so here's something. We just got a piece of breaking news, actually. Okay. I want to ask you about something that we saw on television recently, Tyler, and this is up your alley when it comes to pro wrestling. And that was the Who Killed WCW series. To give the fans a little bit of background, there was on Vice TV, there was a series, a 4-part series called Who Killed WCW. World Championship Wrestling was a promotion, to give you all the biggest spark notes I could possibly give, because I could go hours talking about them, that competed with WWE back in the 90s and 2000s, eventually went bankrupt, or eventually they got bought by Vince McMahon. But basically, a lot of reasons led to the demise of WCW. And Tyler, I'm asking you, what did you think they did the whole thing with WCW justice?
See, this is something I haven't really followed too much either.
Okay. So basically, you had the variety. Okay, here's the best way I can question this. What do you think killed WCW?
Itself.
Okay. Well, they asked on the series, they asked a lot of the wrestlers, a lot of the executives, especially including Eric Bischoff. A lot of them said the Time Warner. Time Warner did not want professional wrestling on its time slots on prime time. And without proper time slot to air it, there's no reason for the company to exist. Some people blame the booking committee. A couple people, such as Booker T, blamed Eric Bischoff. Um, you know,
Maybe the ego.
egos could be a good one. When you have a lot of backstage. Here's Nick's comment on it. Nick says, blame Vince Russo, but when everyone had creative control, it didn't help. All NWO creative control and got paid 6 figures. So this is my thing. If you are a professional wrestler and you have direct creative control over your character and your wrestler, and you're not a promoter or a booker, you should not have any reason. You should not have creative control. Hulk Hogan, for example, having creative control should not have ever existed. It caused so many backstage issues in the company. Hiring Vince Russo caused so many issues because he clashed with Eric Bischoff. I think, and one underrated tactic, it definitely, to me, was the executives at TBS or at Time Warner, AOL Time Warner, whatever the hell you want to call them. Because Eric Bischoff was about to buy WCW, save it, put it back on TV. And what happens? AOL shuts him down. And just like that, WCW is no more. And we had to, as much as we love WWE, we had to watch just basically WWE for so many years until we would watch Ring of Honor or TNA. It wasn't until AEW that we had that major promotion step in. Now, what are your thoughts, Tyler, on how AEW does as a counterpart to WWE?
Oh, I love AEW. They're doing amazing. They're doing amazing.
What makes you think they stand apart from WWE in any way?
That's a good question. Man, I don't know how to answer that one.
Oh, boy, I already got fireworks shooting off. Okay. Do you think it's the wrestling quality? Do you think it's the way the storylines are portrayed? I mean,
I think it's a combination of everything.
okay. Um, oh,
Mixed.
I like what Nick said here. He says David Arquette being the world champion was funny. Yeah, that was a complete cluster. There's no reason that exists. Now, okay. You being on the show, I have to bring this up to you is I'm gonna put up one of your upcoming events as far as that you will be involved in, and I want you to give everybody the skimmy on what the event is, what it means to you, and how you will be involved.
Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one. So yeah, Saturday, July 13th, season 8 of Wrestling for a Cure by any means necessary. I was invited to be the ring announcer this year, and it is a fundraiser for St. Jude. Pretty much all of the proceeds go to St. Jude's. It's held in Springfield at the Illinois building at the State Fairgrounds. The doors open at 5:30, and we ring that bell at 6. And of course, you're gonna see the annual Dusty Cameron Memorial Battle Royal. You're gonna see a heavyweight title match, a cruiserweight title match, a tag team title match, and that's just the gist of it. This is a really, really big event, guys. So if you can make it out, we want to see as many of you there as possible.
Okay, so that is our first event that we have for Tyler over here. They can catch him at. And I hope by next year I have some major involvement at this event. I know it was something I was definitely aiming for, but unfortunately, with all respect to them, they never reached back with me. But I still highly supportive of this event, and I want it to thrive as much as possible. So, Wrestling for a Cure in Springfield, Illinois, on Saturday, July 13th, 2024. All right, Tyler. Next up.
This is another big one. On August 24th, New Genesis Wrestling, we return to the Lou Civic Center. And this is going to be a fundraiser for the Mascoutah Little Indians football organization. So a portion of the profits from this show go to the Mascoutah Little Indians football organization. And this is going to be energy, attitude, and toughness. Adult tickets are $12. Children tickets are $5. And you're going to get to see the NGW debut of the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz. So the doors open at 6 p.m. with a bell time of 7 p.m. And just like Wrestling for a Cure, this is going to be a big show that we want to see you guys at. We are really, really, really big when it comes to these fundraiser shows. So we want to try to raise as much money for St. Jude as possible, as much money for the football organization as possible. It's going to be a great time.
Okay. One more for you, buddy.
Oh, yes. This Saturday night, Prairieland Independent Wrestling presents the return of Unfair Games live in Verdon, Illinois on the square. The party starts at 3 p.m. Expecting to wrap things up by 6 p.m. You never know how things go. I will be ring announcing for this event. And of course, there's already been one main match advertised. And that's going to be the Dragonfly, Chris Exodus, challenging Kurt Alexander for the Rampage Championship Wrestling Championship. So come party with us on the square. That's this weekend, y'all. This Saturday.
I was gonna say, folks,
Saturday night, but I'm not used to shows starting at 3 p.m.
I was gonna say that's a very weird but unique start time, being 3 p.m. Usually, I'm used to the doors opening at 6 and the show starting by 7.
Right.
Maybe 6:30 sometimes on a lucky day.
Being mindful too. This is an
Outside.
This is an outside show, guys. It's gonna be hot. So please be mindful of the weather.
Bring your damn water, folks. That's what he's saying. Tyler Cooley says it here first. Bring your damn water. Stay hydrated.
Yes.
Because we live in Missouri and Illinois and in the Midwest, and it's hot as balls out here.
Absolutely.
When it is hot. I hate to say it, folks, but climate change affects the Midwest too. So allow me to be the one now to plug our sponsor for the evening. And of course, every week. Oh, go ahead. What do you got?
I just got word that it looks like there's possibly rain in the forecast for Saturday. So rain or shine, this show is happening. Whether it's going to be happening outside if it rains, I'm not positive. But I did get word a few weeks back that rain or shine, it is happening. But I did get word that we're expecting rain in the forecast.
Okay, so it could very well rain.
Yes.
With all that said, I want to talk about our sponsor for the evening, and that being Filthy Games Room, located in St. Charles, Missouri at 3479 Newtown Boulevard. Okay, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, Filthy Games Room is the dream come true of a man who has absolutely loved video games and gaming and spending time with family. A veteran himself, Mr. Ben Bizzle. This is in historic St. Charles by Interstate 370 or by Highway 370. I do want to say that if you go to the entrance of this amazing place, they got a whole bunch of free to play arcade machines for you and the whole family. They have the largest selection of Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega, Atari, all kinds of video games, retro and modern, in the St. Louis metro area. You can test out games. They repair your consoles and check on games. There's and look, I'm telling you, folks, they have tournaments too. They recently just had a great Smash Brothers 64 tournament. As you can tell by the picture, if you're watching the audio visual version of the show, this is exactly how it looked. Yes, it looks crazy as hell, but it was fun. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. But be sure to check them out. They are open Wednesday through Thursday, 12 noon to 8 p.m. That's Ben, Isaac, Scott, and Ari out at 3479 Newtown Boulevard in St. Charles. Filthy Games Room, buy, sell, and trade. That being said, we are here at episode 93 of Roundabout Sports. And I am the Maestro, Jeremy Kopp, alongside Tyler Cooley, who has something he wants to say of his own. What you got, Tyler?
This Friday night, 7 o'clock p.m. on Facebook, Keeping It Cool with Tyler Cooley is going to be live. We're just going to be having a little bit of fun. We're going to be doing some silly games, but it's going to be couples edition. So we're going to be bringing on some couples, and we're going to be playing some games.
Okay, so tell us a bit about the Keeping It Cool podcast. What do we expect when we tune into your show?
So Keeping It Cool with Tyler Cooley started, it's been about a year or so, I feel like. I want to say maybe last April. I kind of just started going live and just doing these random Facebook lives for fun, excuse me. And I would just start bringing on a bunch of different people in the wrestling business, and I would, kind of do a lot of interviews with them. And eventually I set up an interview with a wrestler, Astonishing Austin Moolise Hollow. And he was like, instead of doing it like this, why don't we make it this podcast thing? And he pretty much came up with the idea. Keeping it cool with Tyler Cooley and everything like that. And from there, it kind of became this thing. But over time, I've adapted. I have a co-host now. Scott Cross is an amazing referee. He is an amazing co-host. He does an amazing job gathering guests. Our wonderful producer, Alexander McNeil, he's an amazing photographer. He does an amazing job for us getting the links together and doing all the work for us. And of course, our amazing sponsor, every single time we do it, is New Genesis Wrestling. Huge shout out to New Genesis Wrestling. I have nothing but love and admiration for what they're doing. They're an amazing company to work for. And I do have a director and executive producer. It's some bald guy. I don't know.
Just some random old guy. So I have a bit of breaking news I gotta say. We are in the top of the 8th inning in the Cardinals Pirates game in Pittsburgh, and Wilson Contreras just hit a 2-run home run to tie the ball game for the Cardinals. So great news right there for Cardinal fans. And this way you don't have to tune out of Roundabout Sports. You can watch it here and get the updates.
Sorry, the ball
So
texted me.
yeah.
He texted me and he said, "Hey, now I'm not that old."
Oh, geez.
Love you, Sam.
So you can also find us here at oh, wait a minute. We also have a let's see. I want to give also a shout out to the Russell Talk podcast once again for reaching episode 489 last night, but we are not done. We still got about 11 episodes to go. Well, let's see. Yeah. 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yep, 11. 11 episodes to go till the big episode 500. And I've been there. Shit. Well, let's see. We've done 5 Wrestle Madness episodes and specials, and I've been there for all of those. I have been there since 2017, I think. So I've been there for a good chunk of them. We hadn't even hit episode 200 yet when I joined. So it tells you how long I've been a part of it. God, I feel old. I mean, I feel old just doing all this. Also, everybody, be sure every Saturday night, granted it's late, so set your DVRs if you have to, because I think it airs around 11 o'clock to midnight. The Your Little Castle show on ABC 30. One of the production coordinators of the show, your very own Maestro. Thank you. I try. And we got such an amazing team at I-70. I want to give a shout out to everybody involved. So continuing now with episode 93 of Roundabout Sports, folks, there's a lot of different things that has happened in the world of wrestling over the past few days. Here's one that actually has come out. So here's something that has been revealed. And this is in regards to Cody Rhodes as a heel. Now, Tyler, you and I both remember the days when Cody Rhodes was dashing Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
Exactly. So, apparently, in a recent interview, he discussed what being a heel means to him. He says, quote, "It's very hard to be a heel today." He says, quote, "A heel's taking something away that you like. You hear people in wrestling saying there's a wrong type of heat. I actually think there is. He says there's no such thing. I think there's 2 types of heat. I think there's good heel heat, and there's just go away, we don't like you heat. Like Baron Corbin as a heel, we didn't boo him because we thought he was a good heel. We booed him because we literally didn't like him. Dominic Mysterio, we boo him because he is just so great at what he does. Mm-hmm. Like, do you think there's 2 different types of heat when it comes to pro wrestling?
I do. And I will also agree that I do think it's very hard nowadays to be a heel because with me, for example, I connect so good with the crowd, and I have a lot of people that surprisingly, genuinely love me, and they love to see me. So it's just, it's really hard once you start having those connections. But I do think that there are 2 different types of heat. And I do, and I'm sure everybody knows this, everybody takes heat differently, but you have to be able to take it the right way. And Cody, it was interesting when he was a heel, because I remember too, whenever he was, Stardust,
Oh God, I hated that.
But
Oh
another
God.
thing too is I also think this whole cancel culture thing kind of makes it a little bit hard when it comes to heat.
Well, and yeah, that's the thing is that, and Cody says that as well in the interview is that, um, you have a much harder time because of the society we live in. Look, heels back when, even before we grew up, could do a lot worse things to get heat than what people can do that are allowed to do now. Oh, speaking of the night owl earlier, que pasa, que pasa, que pasa, night owl. We have praised
Hola!
we have praised the hell out of you tonight, and deservedly so. We are still reeling off of last night's surprise announcement and all the hard work you put in. This was personally something you put in so much heart and soul into doing, helping Luke get inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so,
And
yes, and we
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Tyler.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm so used to hopping in comment sections and watching these things and hearing everybody praise me, and Night Owl was one of those people, so I kind of just want to do the same thing you're doing, and I want to keep on the praise with Night Owl because he does some incredible things when it comes to podcasting and wrestling and just life in general. And I know he's a hard worker. And Night Owl, I'm damn proud of you. I'm glad to know you. I'm thankful for you. And I love you. I love you, man.
I wholeheartedly agree. Now, I want to ask you about. Now, we've seen you when you were in a battle royal a while back, and you were actually at commentary at ringside when it happened, when you were announcing the competitor. And the thing of it is, you say so many people, which of course we do. A lot of us love and respect you. I know I do, but I feel like a lot of people give you the reaction that a heel would get. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah. So, really quick, just a quick message from New Genesis Wrestling. New Genesis Wrestling says the Night Owl is fantastic. New Genesis Wrestling loves you, Night Owl. Um, so that battle royal I was in too. So that crowd in Mount Vernon, they love me, but for some reason they also really love to watch me get beat up. So
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
I have, and I have a lot of fans that do genuinely, give me heat, and I enjoy it. I enjoy giving, because you're gonna have fans that like you, and you're gonna have fans that don't like you, and it's okay.
And that's another thing is, I mean, one way or another, you're always going to have fans that like you and fans that don't. I'm fortunate that, I mean, I would like to think people like me when I'm a commentary, but I know that there's a lot of people who are fans of the Solution in Pro Wrestling Epic, for example, that don't like me because I constantly chastise the Solution.
Oh, good.
So I have to ask you, what is the hardest element you have to do to bring when you go to the announce table?
Honestly, whenever I go to that announce table, the biggest thing I'm worried about is just not messing up. Whenever I do commentary, I feel like I try to really get into it. A lot of these matches are really good matches, and it's really hard to not get into them, but I'm really just kind of about giving it my all, but like delivering my best. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to mess up. Whenever I'm doing the commentary, I'm kind of, and then after the show, I'm so eager to see it and hear it because I want it to be not necessarily perfect because nobody's perfect, but more so just I want it to be. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to disappear. Oh no. Oh, are you still there? My phone
I'm
just
still
completely
here.
shut off on me. Okay, sorry about that. My phone just, I don't know
Okay.
what happened there. But I really want it to be to everybody's liking. Also, when it comes to doing commentary for New Genesis Wrestling, for me, it's about, I don't want Chris Cade and the New Deal to pull me away from that commentary table. I kind of have a bad habit of getting on some of these guys' bad sides. I talk a lot of shit. So
I was gonna say, I mean, but I feel like we're all, my biggest thing is when I go into a locker room, whether it was with Dynamo or whether it was with or whether it's with Pro Wrestling Epic, or if I do it with CHWA or with anybody, I have to tell, or with New Genesis, how any company I have the pleasure of working with, I go in there saying, they want me there for a reason. So what I have to do is make sure not to mess up.
absolutely.
But I also can't overthink about it, I can't overthink the possibility of messing up. If I mess up, it happens. But you also can't correct yourself. You have to keep going.
Absolutely.
Because the only way, a lot of times, sometimes they won't catch it if you don't say anything.
I guess I'm on Aleister Crow's bad side now too. Last New Genesis Wrestling show in Mascoutah, Aleister Crow did not have an opponent, and he was not too happy. So he decided to take things into his own hands, and he came down to the commentary desk and picked me up and tossed me into the ring and wanted to get his hands on me. So the ring announcer and co-CEO stepped in front of me and helped me out, but it wasn't just her. Also, somebody I'm really thankful for that came out and saved my ass, the prodigal son, Jake Prater.
Yeah.
And he ended up picking up the win that night. So I'm grateful for that. See, and these are a lot of guys that I have to watch out for, because with Aleister Crow, I haven't really said anything to him on social media, so I don't know why to target me. I don't know. I guess I'm just an easy target for some of these guys, but what a lot of these wrestlers don't realize is I have friends.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the solution is Nick Natural. I've said it before. Nick Natural, Ace Roberts, Derek Fullerton, fantastic wrestlers, but it's their tactics of how they go about it that bother me.
Absolutely.
And what's that?
I said absolutely.
And of course, I've gotten on their bad side because of it. But I mean, there's a lot of wrestlers in that locker room that would have my back if it comes down to it. But like I said, and I've told Nick's gotten in my face plenty of times when I'm at that table, because he loves rubbing it in my face that they're all champions, and I'll give it to him. But there's always the right way to be a champion and the wrong way.
Absolutely.
So Tyler, I got to ask you this. We're looking back on, we're heading into Money in the Bank and the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which is coming up this Saturday. Who do you think is going to be the men's winner, and who do you think is going to be the women's winner?
Oh, I might need you. Do you have the participants pulled up?
I do have the participants with me. I mean, they're not with me behind me, but I have the list. So right now for the men's Money in the Bank, we have Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. For the women, we have Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyra, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark.
So for the men's Money in the Bank, I kind of have LA Knight. Yeah. No, I have I gotta say either Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, or Jey Uso. And the reason why I have so many picks is because this match is filled with so much talent and so much potential. And it's really hard to just stick with one. Same for the women's Money in the Bank. I got to go with either Naomi or Tiffany Stratton or Chelsea Green. And the reasons for those is because I feel like they're starting to give Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton such a good push, and they deserve it. Because a lot of people, have their doubts about Chelsea Green, and a lot of people have their positive thoughts about Chelsea Green. I feel like Chelsea Green gets underlooked a lot. You've seen how she's been utilized in TNA, Ring of Honor,
Right.
all these other promotions that she's worked for. And they've utilized her in a good way. You saw how Naomi was utilized. I mean, she came to the promotion and was instantly crowned Knockouts champion. So, and then she went back to the WWE, and a lot of people felt like, oh shit, she's kind of going back to this, Naomi, to no talent basically. But those are my picks for the men's and women's. Like I said, both matches are full of a lot of potential, so I think they're both going to be really good. But either of those three picks for either match, and I'm happy.
Okay, well, for me, I have for the men's Money in the Bank, I honestly, oof, this is tough. I mean, because I'm looking at it. You know what? Okay, I'll start with the women's, and for me, that's almost. I got two people. I got Tiffany Stratton and I got Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea Green is a big sleeper in all this. She is hugely popular for all the weird, fun, crazy reasons. But I have a good feeling that she might actually emerge.
And you talk about fan favorites too. In a sense, I feel like Chelsea Green is almost one of the fan favorites going into this, because a lot of the rumors are speculating that Chelsea's going to be the winner.
I feel like she'll actually be the winner, and fans will get a big kick out of it too. But I think it'll be between her and Chelsea, or not her and Chelsea, her and Tiffany. And then honestly, I kind of feel like Chad Gable might win the Money in the Bank.
Oh, okay.
And then the Wyatt Six will do something to interfere with him trying to cash in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A lot of, like, when it comes to the Money in the Bank, where do teams kind of stand in this? Like, with Chelsea Green, like, she's partnered up with Piper Nevin. Like,
yep.
where does Piper Nevin stand in all this? Like, are we going to see an appearance from her? It's really interesting. It's really interesting.
It really is.
I think my favorite was whenever they did it on the WWE headquarters, only because
yes, during
it was
COVID,
nice to see it outside, although it was a little bit scary, because it's just whenever you watch stuff like that, you never know. Like, whenever that, I don't remember who it was, but whenever they had that one wrestler like get thrown off
they had Baron Corbin throw Rey Mysterio off.
Yeah. See, and it's hard when it's stuff like that, because like you never know. But I think I read that they had like something like a trampoline almost. Edward says no way. See, and
but I feel like, because I feel like
Maestro's.
This is my thing. I feel like the safe bet is to pick Jey Uso, but it's not. I don't think it's Jey Uso.
I like Maestro's thought though about Gable possibly winning and then Wyatt Six interfering. And one thing I want to say about the Wyatt Six is I love what they're doing with them. I just wish they would do a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm just so ready to see them in the ring and just actually doing something, even if it's just Nikki Cross or something.
Right. So quick score update, folks. Bottom of the ninth inning. We are still tied in Pittsburgh between the Cardinals and the Pirates at 3 apiece.
And of course,
Tyler, I want to ask you this. As we're about to wrap things up, we talked about how hard it is to be a heel in today's wrestling in this world.
I
How
just
about how about staying in gimmick? Because a lot of people are starting up a controversy because that's what people like to do these days. Because there was a picture of the Wyatt Six out of character at a restaurant with a
yep.
fan,
Hmm.
and a lot of people are not thrilled about that. Give me your thoughts on this.
So when it came to that picture, whenever I saw that picture, I liked it because I'm one of those people where I, I'm one of those people where I'm just like take the picture because you never know when you're not gonna have that opportunity. You know what I mean? So like I guess I can respect where people are coming from because they weren't really in costume or anything like that. But it doesn't mean that they're not. Like Eric Rowan was still Eric Rowan. Bo Dallas was still Uncle Howdy. Like Nikki Cross was still, like for me, it's a little bit easier because I'm like one of those happy-go-lucky people. I don't know if you know who Donde Estoy is. He's a local wrestler, but Donde he's always like always. I've never ever seen him without his mask or newspaper shirt on. He's always in his mask, always wearing his newspaper shirt. But for me, it's a little bit easier because I'm just one of those happy-go-lucky people, and so
Right.
I just kind of I try to stay positive and I try to keep the smile and the thumbs up and um, but it can be hard sometimes. I'm one of those people where I need to work on certain things. I do let certain comments get under my skin a little bit.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
do tend
speaking of comments, we got one here by Edward. When do you guys think Alexa Bliss will join the Wyatt Six? So, what do you think about that?
That's a good question. That's been something that I've been wondering. A lot of people are wondering about who the sixth member is, when we're going to see the sixth member. I do think the sixth member is going to be Alexa Bliss. I'm hoping maybe we'll see her by SummerSlam, if not at SummerSlam. Um, but it's really just a matter of how and when. But I think it's Alexa Bliss, and I think it's going to be SummerSlam.
Okay. Well, Tyler, before we wrap things up this evening, once again, I want to plug your upcoming events. So
Thank
we're
you.
gonna we are going to start with Wrestling for a Cure. Go ahead and give us the skimmy.
Saturday, July 13th, 2024, a St. Jude fundraiser. All of the proceeds go to St. Jude. It is Wrestling for a Cure Season 8 by any means necessary, live in Springfield, Illinois, at the Illinois building at the State Fairgrounds. The doors open at 5:30 p.m. with a bell time of 6 p.m. You are going to see the main event, which is going to be the annual Dusty Cameron Memorial Battle Royal. You're going to see a heavyweight championship match, a cruiserweight championship match, a tag team championship match, all of this and so much more. Go get your tickets. We want to see all of you there. This is going to be an amazing night, folks. I cannot wait.
Okay, and followed up by go ahead.
August 24th, New Genesis Wrestling returns to the Lou Civic Center in Mascoutah, Illinois. This is going to be a fundraiser for the Mascoutah Little Indians. Half of the proceeds go to the Little Indians football organization. The doors open at 6 p.m. with a bell time of 7 p.m. Adult tickets are $12. Kids tickets are $5. Energy, attitude, toughness. You're going to see the New Genesis Wrestling debut of Ricky Cruz. Oh, not half. My bad. A portion of tickets. A portion. My bad. A portion of sales go to the Little Indians football organization. You're going to see the New Genesis Wrestling debut of the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz. And I have just gotten word that this has been made official. You're going to see the Midwest Menace, Sid Holland, go one-on-one with the monster, the tower that is known as C.W. Graves. Go get your tickets for this. That
Ooh,
is going to be a
CW Graves.
match. Sid
Okay.
Holland versus C.W. Graves. Wow.
I had God. Oh, that I'm actually really excited for that. Because I know, God, it's been a while since I've seen C.W. Graves. I'm excited for that match. Really, that's
And
gonna
Sid
be
Holland.
that's
Sid,
going to be one hell of a.
Sid Holland going into this match, he's
Yeah.
currently undefeated in New Genesis Wrestling.
Okay. Well, we got one more event for you to plug, my friend, and that is PIW.
This Saturday night, Prairieland Independent Wrestling returns. They present the return of Unfair Games in Verdun, Illinois on the square. The party starts at 3 p.m. Looking to wrap things up at about 6 p.m. You're going to see the Dragonfly Chris Exodus challenge Kurt Alexander for the Rampage Championship Wrestling Championship. That is going to be one hell of a match. We want to see as many of you there as possible because this is going to be one hell of a party. And we're pretty excited. PIW, the return of Unfair Games this Saturday. Not night. My bad.
Okay. Well, folks, we are going to wrap things up this week on Roundabout Sports. First, I want to say a special big thank you to Tyler Cooley for joining me this evening. I want to say also I want to have up here, hang on, let me pull it up, from our dear friend Ed Wheatley, his latest book, St. Louis Sports Memories, Forgotten Teams and Memories from America's Best Sports Town. Be sure to find it on retail shelves everywhere. That's St. Louis Sports Memories, written by our very own dear friend Ed Wheatley. Also, folks, be sure to go to Filthy Games Room, who's a sponsor for Roundabout Sports, at 3479 Newtown Boulevard in St. Charles, Missouri. Filthy Games Room, buy, sell, trade. They have the largest collection of video games, retro and modern, in the St. Louis metro area. Absolutely fantastic place. It's a great stress reliever. It feels just like you're a little kid again. And an amazing staff team. I consider friends very much near and dear to my heart. And as far as next week goes for Roundabout Sports, for episode 94, like I said, folks, August 21st is the 100th episode. We are getting down to the nitty gritty. I will say, our special guest, he is he knows a thing or two about Roundabout Sports, knows a thing or two about I-70. And he's gonna take some time to join us next week. Yes, that is right. Next week, it's a big time treat as Hollywood James Knox will be a special guest on Roundabout Sports. So I look forward to having my dear friend back for next week for a special guest appearance. You can find Roundabout Sports on Facebook, on X, on our official YouTube channel, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes. Basically, if it's a podcast site, we're there. As always, as we close the show, we put up the NAMI helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI. That's 1-800-950-NAMI. The National Alliance on Mental Illness is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for those who struggle. And also, we put up the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and for that, you dial 988. The line is open 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Understand that you're never alone in this world. There's always somebody out there who loves you, who cares about you, who knows that you truly are worth something on this earth. We're all put on this planet for a reason, and that's to make an impact with our own lives and with each other. And we just got to spread the love as best as we can. We all struggle and we all have our struggles, but they don't have to be traveled alone. You're just a phone call or a text away. And you could be the listening ears and watchful eyes for someone else. But once again, I want to thank Tyler Cooley. I look forward to next week, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, on the Maestro Jeremy Karp, and life is a book full of empty pages just waiting to be written in. Make your lives worth reading.